So Kenny, how excited are you after making the big decision and looking ahead to a brand new season?
Yeah, very excited. Wasn't, expecting to have another opportunity to play here. It kind of worked out that way. That I have another shot, and I'm really excited to have my final season. It's been a really good off season so far. Getting back to a little bit of normalcy with the workouts and everything. So, it's been going well.
Kenny,
Kenny, go ahead,
What did you like about this group that you were excited to come back and be a part of it for another year?
I think we just got really good people on the team. I think, obviously, if I didn't love it here so much, it would have been a lot easier to leave. Given the position that I was in. So, I love it here. Love the players. Love the coaches. So it was a pretty, I think it was a win-win either way if I chose to leave or if I chose to stay. So, I'm really focused on being here. I'm really excited, to have one more ride with these guys.
Sure, it was a tough decision, Kenny. You had to make. How close were you to not coming back?
Very close. It really came down to, I kind of put a deadline on. I forget which night. It was like a Thursday night or something. But I said that would be the night that either I declare or I stay. I really just wanted to field as much information as I could. I took my time with it. I feel like a lot of people rush the decision. Either they just want to rush to stay or rush to go. But I was just fielding information from a lot of people who were around the NFL in college and, took it all in. At the end of the day, I feel like, I have the ability to come back and really improve my game and, just help me take the next step as a player and a person. So, like I said before, I'm just really excited to be back.
Kenny, the two new assistant coaches this year, a lot of freshmen enrolled early. I mean, what kind of life have they kind of breathed into the program from what you've seen?
Yeah, they bring a breath of fresh air. I'd say all the new guys usually that's how it goes when you have freshmen come in. I mean, I was that guy, a couple of years ago. So, I like taking those guys under my wing and helping them out any way I can. And then obviously Coach Marion coming in. We lost a great coach in Coach Beatty, and then I think Coach Narduzzi and Coach Whipple did a great job hiring Coach Marion. I think he fits that room really well, and brings a whole new energy and aspect to it. I sat in on some meetings and just tried to listen to him teach and his terminology. So we've been out there throwing with the receivers. I can translate to the terms that he wants and that he prefers. So it's been going really well. I'm excited for Sunday. First practice is always exciting. Guys are flying around. The speed's fast. So, that'll be a good day.
Kenny, obviously Jordan kind of broke out last spring camp. Do you have any early read on who that next guy might be coming out of that wide receiver room who might have a similar spring?
That's a good question. I think there's a lot of potential everywhere. I'd say the guy who's impressed me the most going from just training and throwing would be tight end Gavin Bartholomew. I think he's really impressed me early. He came in ready. That was the first thing I noticed. For a young kid. Just watching him, his work ethic and watch how he goes about his business. He came in ready to play, ready to go. So I'm really excited to see how he handles the playbook and everything this spring. But I think he's a guy who has potential to make an impact early.
Kenny, that senior class that just moved on with like Patrick, Rashad, DeMar, a lot of team leaders. So, I mean, how do you replace those guys, and who are some of the guys that kind of stepping up early in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, it's really tough to obviously we had a lot of senior leadership last year. Being a part of that, being a captain and being an Eagle here for a few years now. I've been around some great leaders, and I think the young guys need to take what they did and kind of use it as a platform and they saw how it's done the right way. So I think it'll be done by committee. I don't see one guy stepping up early right now to be able to handle what those guys were handling as leaders on the team. So I think it'll be by committee early, and then we'll see who develops in the summer.
Kenny, one of your main guys your entire career at Pitt was Jimmy Morrissey. Seeing him go to the NFL draft. Just your thoughts on him taking the next step, and also who have you been connecting with on the offensive line now? Because this will be the first year you don't have Jimmy in the middle of the line, and working with him every game.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Jim, like you said, Jimmy's one of my best friends that I made while I've been here, and I was trying to get him to stay when I realized I was coming back. He didn't really bite on that, but yeah. I mean, I'd say Owen Drexel stepped up big this winter. I think he'll be out there with me day one, most likely. I mean, but besides that, a lot of the guys I've played with which is the really good news. Also coming back, I've played with this offensive line for a couple of years now. We lost Bryce Hargrove too, who is really really a good player. So we obviously have two big holes to fill, but I think Marcus coming in was huge. Obviously Carter and Gabe, having a lot of experience, and Mac and Salvis stepped in and did a really good job. I think he's he has a lot of potential as a young guy. He's been impressive early on. Jay Cradle, another great offensive lineman. So I think we have a lot of pieces now. I'm excited to see those guys compete. I think it's probably one of the more competitive rooms we have right now. So that's always good to have going into spring. And, we'll just see how everything goes as practices move on.
Last year at this time, you developed a pretty good connection with Lucas Kroll. I was wondering if you were able to reconnect this spring. You plan to reconnect this spring?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've been throwing, 2 to 3 times a week. So, that connection's obviously still there. It didn't work out last year with him, having injuries, and he was fighting that. So, great to see him back fully healthy. He needs to maintain fully healthy throughout this spring, throughout camp, so we can go into season at full tilt. But really excited to play with him. Only had a short time with him. Had 3 practices last spring, and then a week or 2 in summer camp. So really didn't have a lot of time to play with each other. When we did, we had a blast. So really looking forward to getting back on the field with him.
Kenny, I know we're a couple months removed from it, but walk us through when you decided that you were coming back. Who did you call first? What was the reaction? Because it seemed like it came out of nowhere to pretty much everybody. So I imagine the coaches were pretty surprised too.
I stayed in touch with Coach Narduzzi and Coach Whipple. Those were the 2 people here that I was obviously staying in touch with. Outside of that, I think everyone on the team and everyone had the idea that I was declaring. My friends back home didn't, they were the only ones that probably knew that I was, making a decision about it, just because I was stressed about it a little bit and talking to them. Besides that, everyone thought I was leaving. So, I had some people reach out to me. I reached out to some people and just got, as much information as I could. And at the end of the day, it was just such a broad, spectrum of where, I could have potentially wound up getting drafted. And, I think a lot highly, more highly of myself, I'd say, than where I was, projected. So as a competitor, it just, just fuels the fire more for this season. I've been working really hard with these guys, and everyone's been, putting a lot of work in. So I'm excited to get out there for spring, and that decision was made. And once I made a decision, either way I was going to go, I wasn't going to look back. So once that decision was made, I felt great. Didn't tell anybody, really just sent that tweet out because I was just ready to come back to Pitt and finish my last year. So that was really the thought process.
Kenny, this time last year, everything was shutting down. Is it a bit surreal, relieving that you guys get spring camp starting here on Sunday?
Absolutely, it's a relief, but in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, like, if we have some cases break out, this whole thing could get shut down for a little bit. So the plan is to have one Sunday, and if we get that in, it's have the second one, just take it day by day. So it's still a crazy time. I feel like it's slowed down a little bit. But then you look at the NCAA tournament. I think it was Virginia today, right? Got canceled. They were supposed to, most likely be in that championship game, so they missed that opportunity. So it's a crazy time right now. I'm just grateful for each day that we get here.
Kenny, you'll be with your offense coordinator and quarterbacks coach for the 3rd consecutive year. That's kind of unusual in these days at every college that coaches stay that long. How important is it for you to have that continuity with Coach Whipple?
Very important, very important. Coach Whipple's like family to me, and we developed a really good relationship over these years. And obviously, he was a huge influence on why I came back. If he wasn't coming back here, I wouldn't have came back. So he was a really big part of me coming here and coming back. And there's a lot of unfinished business, and he's a competitor just like I am. So we're really excited to get to work together for one final year and go out with the bang that we think we can. But we both understand, and this whole team understands that, a lot of work has to be put in first. So, I just, like I said before, grateful for each day that we get to work together. And I'm just excited for this season coming up.
Kenny, obviously, Whip is still that play caller, but you mentioned sitting in on Coach Marion's, wide receiver rooms and hearing some of the terminology. Are you familiar at all with that go-go offense and all that kind of stuff? Have you looked into any of that?
The go-go offense, not too familiar with. I want to watch some film with Coach on that on one of these off days and get more of an insight on that, behind the scenes insight, I guess, on that. I was just curious to learn, but yeah, I mean, I was sitting in on some of it, the interviews, and he just had some really good ideas. I think that'll fit with the pieces that we have coming back on this team. So I'm sure little by little they'll get sprinkled in there. Obviously, the first couple installs are real base offense, and just going back to the ABCs of it and the basics. So, but I'm sure later in the spring, we already actually do have some in. So we've been going through walkthroughs, and it's been going pretty well. So I'm excited just to see more of the concepts that he can add in for us.
Kenny, how excited are you to work with some of these, some more of the young receivers? You've worked with a lot of different receivers in your time at Pitt, but we talked about Jordan Addison, but you guys had a new freshman dunking a basketball, jumping over people. Seems like every year you guys are bringing in somebody that's explosive and fun to work with.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's our coaches are doing a really good job of bringing some really talented players in here, and then obviously I think our strength staff helps a lot. Those guys weren't, they come in athletic, but when you add a college weight room and you add Coach Stack's program to it, you kind of see, guys' bodies change pretty quickly. And, they're doing things that they didn't, expect they would be doing so fast, with how hard we're working, and the program's great. So, yeah, I mean, we got a lot of weapons. I'm excited to go out there the first day and just, let it fly and see what we have, and just, have fun, let it loose, and watch the film, and then just go back and do it over again for day 2. But yeah, like you said, a lot of great athletes out there, so I'm excited to see it.
Are you looking toward the season yet? Is it too early? Any expectations with all of you guys coming back?
Definitely too early for that. Haven't had our first practice yet, so I'll save the expectations. Obviously, the expectations to win, so I'll keep it at that.
Anything final for Kenny?
You mean no predictions this year, Kenny?
Come on, Jerry, you know that predictions are done. I retired the predictions, so no, winning is the only thing that's on my mind. So that's really it.
Chris, did you want the last one?
Yeah, just a your comment. Looks like, Kenny, you look like you were growing your hair out a lot more last year and cut it up a little bit. What went into that decision?
Yeah. There's some people who are not a fan of the long hair. I had some people who were very disappointed that I cut my hair. I don't think I cut. I mean, it's still coming in all right. It's okay. I'm gonna take it day by day, and we'll see how it looks throughout spring. I like it coming out of the back of the helmet, but sometimes it got a little too long. So I'll try and keep it like a little more maintained, and we'll just take it day by day, I guess.